What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dolphins Daily, your daily dose of Dolphins content with your boy, Chris Kane. Let's talk about the Dolphins. So, we're going to start with the very first ever case or no case, moving on up, collab. I'm very excited about this. There was an article written today about would the Dolphins move up for defensive tackle Mason Graham. Mason Graham played at Michigan last year. We know what Michigan was on the defensive line. He's the number one interior D lineman. Abdul Carter is number one overall defensive lineman. So, would the Dolphins move up, presumably to probably pick 6 or 7, right? Because the top 5, those are going to probably be a couple quarterbacks, Travis Hunter in there, maybe offensive tackle. Like, that's kind of muddled. I see him going right now between 6 and 9. That's where Mason Graham slotted to go. Would the Dolphins move up to do it? Now, according to the article, the Dolphins would go from 13 to 6, and they will basically give up our second round pick this year, pick number 48, and package that together with our 13th pick to go up to 6 to get Mason Graham. Now, we don't have another pick after that until the 4th round. So you're basically saying first 2 round picks for Mason Graham. That's basically what the trade would do. Now we got to do case or no case. Should we do this? I don't like it. I think it's too valuable to give up 2 picks for that guy unless that guy is a quarterback. Like, I don't see a position player that's worth a first and a second round pick in this draft. Even if Cam Ward was available and we thought we really loved Cam Ward, he played in Miami. We're Miami. I can 1 and 2 to move up 6 spots feels like a lot to me. I don't think Mason Graham is head and shoulders above even Kenneth Grant, his teammate. I think he's the best. He's been the most consistent. He has great tape. I get it. But to give up your first 2 round picks to get an interior defensive lineman, oof, it feels like a lot. It feels like, unless this is like Ndamukong Suh, who was absolutely generational and just completely wrecked things in college and, almost beat Texas by himself when he played for Nebraska. If it's that level guy that we think is an Aaron Donald type and no one thinks Mason Graham is Aaron Donald, now if it's Aaron Donald on the board, yeah, we're going to get one of the best D tackles of all time. That's great. Mason Graham, we're thinking he's going to be like a Fletcher Cox type guy. Maybe, like that kind of career. If no disrespect to Fletcher, great player, long career. But first 2 round picks when you have a bunch of needs. The problem is that we have a lot of needs, right? So it's not about is Mason Graham worth the 1 and the 2. Somebody can probably convince themselves of that. But we got a lot of stuff we got to fill. And if you can get a D tackle and a cornerback in the top 2 rounds and those guys both become starters, I don't know how you just give that up for that. So moving on up, I wouldn't do it. Case or no case, I got no case for that. But it's an interesting article, and I'm here for it. Why not? Next, second round picks, right? So first round, I assume we're going somewhere defensive. I don't believe we're getting a guard in the first round now. So it seems like we're drafting offensive linemen later in the draft, right? And I've already said we need to go after guards because guards are our biggest position of need. But however, sometimes there's top positional people available late in the draft, and having depth and competition, I'm all here for. So insert Minnesota tackle Aireontae Ersery. He was the Big Ten O-Lineman of the Year. He's All-American. Like, he's played every game. I had to look up like his game stats, right? Because sometimes guys are good for like 1 year and they say, hey, he's been good for 1 year. Give me like all the accolades. He's played every game since he was a sophomore. Every season. 13 games, 13, and last year. He didn't play the bowl game last year because he knew he would be, a draft pick and didn't want to get hurt. But he's never missed a game for injury, which is crazy. And he started every game. So when you start for 3 years straight, you put up numbers, and you don't get hurt, the fact that he would even possibly be here in the second round is kind of wild to me. He's 6'6", 330 pounds, giant, but he plays left tackle. As we've been talking about, that's Patrick Paul's presumptive position, right? But y'all know I like competition. So you're bringing somebody in. He's not as laterally athletic. So like if the block requires him to pull or something like that, that's not his strength. He's basically a wall. Like, you get near me, hands. But he's not super quick, so you can get past him. Like, if you can dip up under his arms, you can get past him because he's so big and he's kind of a statue that you can get past him. But if he gets near you or gets hands on you, you're dead to rights, right? And the fact that he played in the Big Ten, which you know is a very heavy O line conference, very heavy run conference. Like most of the teams are running based, and you have a couple throwing in there, but you go down the line, those guys run the ball. And the fact that he was the Big Ten Offensive Lineman of the Year tells me you got some pedigree, right? To be an All American on the line is crazy. But, you know, people always talk about athleticism for the offensive line, like he doesn't have quick feet. And I hear a lot of this stuff. I think scouts sometimes just want to nitpick people because he probably should be a late first, early second round grade. So if he's available at 48, the Dolphins probably aren't like looking for a tackle in the second round. But if he's there, it's hard to be like, now we're straight. So I think he'll be an interesting option. Um, we can keep looking at what guards will be available, or if there's a cornerback that falls, which will probably be a bigger source of need. But I think he's an option at that pick. He's has the pedigree. He's done what he's done. So we'll see what happens there. Now, this is another example of I told you so kind of stuff. I mentioned about a week ago, maybe 10 days, these episodes kind of run together, that Shedeur would be an interesting option for the Dolphins if he fell. I got some backlash. People don't like Shedeur. Whatever, whatever. Lo and behold, today, the great Adam Schefter came out. Hey, you know, the Dolphins could be a wild card for Shedeur. And I was like, where have I heard that before? You guessed it, Dolphins Daily. Now, I'll do a double dip here because we only have 3 topics, but this third topic is a part A and a part B. So let's play it that way. The part A part is why the Dolphins maybe possibly should draft him. I think that he's probably going to go by pick 9. I think the Saints are probably like the most safe stopping point. I've said many times, I do not believe Derek Carr will be the day 1 starter. I just said that many times. I don't got no sources, just what I'm telling you. And the Saints need to start over. Brand new quarterback. Kellen Moore is a quarterback whisperer. It makes sense. He coached Dak before. There's a lot of, I get it. It just seems like it's a slam dunk right there, right? They're playing a dome. The vision's not great. Shedeur to the Saints makes all the sense in the world. But if the Saints don't take him, for whatever reason, O-line, DBs, whatever, then the Dolphins are the next best option. So he will fall theoretically to 13. And his comp, according to Dan Orlovsky and some other people, is that he's like a right-handed version of Tua. He's very accurate. He's very good across the middle. But he's a little bit bigger, a little bit more athletic. And he's already played behind a terrible offensive line. Like Colorado's O-line was bad every year he was there. So he's gotten beat up. He's gotten back up. He's more athletic than Tua, taller. Arms are, I would say, comparable. Maybe his is a little bit stronger. But he's also way cheaper. Way cheaper. And if we can get off Tua's number, that changes the salary cap going forward. It changes how we build our team from there. And then the offensive line concern drops a little bit because part of the concern now is we don't want to see Tua get hurt. Nobody wants to see Tua get hit. It's like the number one fear of every Dolphin fan. Like every time a D tackle or end is even near Tua, we all kind of tense up a little bit because we don't want to see him laying on the field again, right? We've seen Shedeur get broken in half, as the great Jim Ross would say, and just stand back up. And I was like, how is he just not like dead? Like they just broke him in half. So that's the reason why the Dolphins should consider it. Here's the second part. The Steelers are looking at him. The Steelers have the 21st pick. They do not have a quarterback. I don't care what you say. Mason Rudolph is not a quarterback. He isn't. He's got great seats to the game. Shout out to Mason Rudolph. He should not be their quarterback, right? They're saying, we're cool with Mason. They're lying. They're talking to Shedeur right now, and they're trying to figure out where they can go. So this is a reverse moving on up for the Steelers. Would the Steelers move up to 13 if Shedeur falls that far to jump Miami? Now Miami trades back 8 picks. We pick up an extra second, maybe a fourth. We still get a late first round pick. We still get one of the top corners on the board, maybe one of the top D linemen on the board. Now we have 2 additional early picks. The Steelers move up. They get their quarterback of the future. They rebuild. The Dolphins get more trade assets. We can fortify our team. That makes a lot of sense. I like that. So the Dolphins, even if they're not actually looking at Shedeur, we got to, then let's say somebody from the Dolphins slipped this information to Adam Schefter. Hey, Adam, we're looking at Shedeur. Just to put it out there, because now the Steelers have to start thinking, if we don't get Shedeur and Jackson Dart's already gone, then we're looking at like Shuck, or we looking at like where are we looking at quarterback? Are we looking at Jalen Milroe maybe in the second round? Like, what are we doing picks wise? And no, they don't have a second round pick. They traded DK Metcalf. So the Steelers don't have a second round pick. So they're talking, we got to get a quarterback in the first because when we draft back around like in the third, there will be no quarterbacks left. And we cannot go into next year with our fan base telling them, hey, Mason Rudolph's the answer. We cannot do that. So the Dolphins just kind of dangle it out there like, hey, we're looking at Shedeur. He's cheaper than Tua, but he's got a lot of the same skill sets. Hey, Pittsburgh, you want to move up or not? Put your draft on the line. Give us that third round pick. Maybe give us a future second. Like, just let's miss Will and Dale. Let's make it happen. You move up 8 picks in the first round. That's at least 2 picks, maybe 3, maybe a third, a future third, and like a fourth. Like we can. Like how bad do you want a quarterback? And now you got the leverage because we're never going after Shedeur. We just wanted the leverage so we can move up and move back and make some picks. I think it's a smart move. I don't believe any article comes out, no information comes out that somebody didn't want to come out. Somebody in the Dolphins brass wanted Adam Schefter to put this story out. And I do believe they're like a little bit interested, but I think it's more so they want to drive with the price for somebody who may want to jump up and get Shedeur. But we'll see. And as always, guys, thank you for tuning in once again to Dolphins Daily. We appreciate the love and support. Thank y'all for the likes, subscribes, reshares, all that good stuff. We'll see you guys next time on Dolphins Daily. Peace.